This was originally intended to be 3 different videos, but even though each cliffhanger is great, I felt like it makes more sense to combine them together into one. Hey guys, welcome back to Everything Anime Podcast. I'm one of your host, Shinry, here with Everything Anime Podcast. I'm from anime, manga, video games, TV shows, or on the topic I'm talking about. Today's video is on Dr. Stone, chapter 164 to 166. Now, I know I've been doing a lot of manga reviews with some game reviews mixed in, but I haven't done a lot of movie reviews. I know I've done like Fast X, the Marvels. I was gonna do like the Wolfman companion and stuff like that, but I kind of just like fell off of talking about those, and it's been a minute since watching them. Probably will still talk about the Wolfman at some point, especially because I'm writing Javudan. Well, I should be writing. I have been taking a break. It's been just a lot of mental stuff going on, so I'm just kind of like trying to tell myself, like, you're not gonna fit your story, just take a break. But anyways, one thing I will review more than likely Tuesday. It's Captain America, A Brave New World. I know a lot of people have been talking about it. I was kind of on the fence about even seeing it just because like, I didn't really care anymore. I'm not like a Marvel hater or nothing like that. I'm just indifferent. Like, I'm like, I'll go still watch these things, but I like different movies now, like just seeing different kind of genres and stuff like that. Like, one I'm looking forward to is Drop. I'll probably talk about Drop when that comes out. That looks really interesting. I like movies like that. Like, I like Fall. When Fall, like 2 girls want to climb the top of the tower or whatever. Well, y'all ain't come here for that. Let me talk about that when I talk about Captain America. Anyway, let's talk about Dr. Stone, chapter 164 to 166, Stalemate. Now, when we last left off, Stanley Snyder had showed up with a new plane. He got it brand new, which they make it seem like that might be the secret weapon that Dr. Stone had been working on, and Dr. Brody. But I'm like, we've seen y'all have a plane before, so we're not gonna be impressed by a plane. If we had never seen a plane before, that'd be different. But Stanley Snyder, he's coming back to like take out our crew, but we have a plane of our own. The plane that Senku and Ryusei got whenever they first eroded his engine. And Stanley Snyder crashed, like he was our first encounter in America. We stole his plane and refurbished it, made it our own, and so now we got a plane versus plane. So we got Senku and Ryusei versus Stanley Snyder in the air. It's an air battle, a dog fight. And that's where we last left off. Now, if you're wondering why Stanley Snyder doesn't just use his gun and gun them down immediately, like I was like, Stanley, you've had no hesitation in gunning us down before. Like, why are you like not that I want him to kill Senku and Ryusei and any of our crew, but I'm just like, from the villain perspective, I was like, something else is going on here. Because we also know that Stanley Snyder has a machine gun, like, as well. Like, he has we know he has access to guns, but specifically a machine gun. And we know that plane has a machine gun on it. And though we would never use our own gun to kill anybody, we do use it to keep our enemies at bay. So we have a gun as well, but we would never use it to like shoot anybody. Well, maybe Yo, his crazy ass might actually shoot somebody. Yo, Magma and Mantle, they might actually shoot somebody, but we ain't trying to kill nobody. But that's exactly what Senku and Ryusei are hoping for, to use their gun as a bluff. So like they're hoping to get behind Stanley Snyder somehow and point their gun at him and be like, hey, you're in check. We could take you out right now if we wanted to. And it's basically they would have buffed their way out of the fight because, again, no one in our Kingdom of Science wants to kill anybody. No, there's no bloodshed. We said that when Yukio joined. We said that when somebody else said that when they joined us too. Not Hyuga. But I think it might have been Chrome that said it. I don't know. There was basically 2 characters like, hey, there's not no bloodshed, right? And of course we're not like that. So I love that. The drawing of the sky in this panel was breathtaking, even just for like a still panel. Like, again, the way the author, Dr. Stone, draws things, the ocean, that storm cloud turned into a dragon, like his drawings are so fucking beautiful. I want to like shake his hand because they're nothing short of incredible. It really gives me like early days of Bleach vibes. And if you read the early, hold on guys, sorry 1 second. But if you read the early chapters of Bleach, in the manga volumes, you know how beautiful like T. Kubo can draw, and this guy is just as good. Now, the goal here is to be the first pilot to get behind the other and gun them down. Well, that's specifically for Stanley Snyder. Stanley Snyder wants to get behind them to gun them down. We want to get behind him so we can just point our gun at him and show him like, hey, you're in check, you know. Obviously they want to avoid shooting like randomly at each other. Like they don't want to fly at each other and shoot point blank because, well, we wouldn't kill him. He would kill us, but like also at the same time, like Stanley Snyder doesn't know we have a no kill rule. But at the same time, like you don't want to suicide and like slam it to your enemy. Like even if he doesn't fire and y'all are playing chicken, you don't want to play chicken and like no one backs out because we know where he's ain't gonna back out. And Stanley Snyder's in the military, he ain't gonna back out. So we can't play chicken, and we also don't want to shoot point blank at each other because Stanley Snyder don't want to get shot too. He doesn't know that we're using it as a bluff. Now, Senku and Urusei, they pull off this crazy drift in midair that allows them to get behind Stanley Snyder and get a lock on them. I forgot. Urusei says it's like some kind of military tactic. I don't know. Maybe some people that fly planes might know what this is, but I'm not really familiar with it. But remember, again, this is only to scare him because we don't actually have a machine gun. Oh, no. I think we bluffed that we have a machine gun. Or no, wait. Because it's Stanley Snyder's plane, it has the machine gun on it. That's what it is, yeah. So Stanley Snyder doesn't know we have he doesn't know we have a handgun. He just knows that his plane has a machine gun as well. So we're bluffing that uses his own machine gun against him. That's what it was. He doesn't know that we have a gun. So they get behind him and they successfully lock onto him. And I was like, okay, something's going to happen because this is way too easy. Like, again, Dr. Stone, like, whenever things go right for us, there's always a twist to it. But Stanley Snyder has a pirate trick of his own known as the yo-yo. I'm not going to try to explain it. Feel free to look it up, but it looks pretty cool. He uses this yo-yo trick to get behind them again. And now, despite this had put Ryusei in a losing position, he managed to flip the script again using a Cobra maneuver. Oh, this is what it is. So yeah, this is the other military one. So Stanley Snyder uses the yo-yo technique to get behind them. And then Ryusei uses a Cobra maneuver, which Ryusei was so inspired by Stanley Snyder that he wants him to join the Kingdom of Science. Like, he's like, because when Ryusei says you want somebody, you're going to join Ryusei. He's like, I want him. Like, he has inspired him to, like, try this Cobra maneuver, which is basically, I think, like, you fly up until you're about to lose altitude, and then, like, as you fall back down, like, it's like a risk thing. I think Iron Man did it in the first Iron Man movie, when he like went up to space and shit or whatever. You know what I'm talking about? I ain't gonna clip that in here because Marvel would definitely take that down or copyright it. But anyways, this is how Ryusei gets behind Stanley Snyder for the final time. Then they reveal they have the handgun, and that puts them in fucking. They put Stanley Snyder in basically checkmate, which I thought was fucking incredible. I wasn't in the chapter there and in the review there. But again, I think where it finally is in 166 is a better stopping point. So the battle is still ongoing. We might have Stanley Snyder in checkmate, but we still got whatever Dr. Zeno's secret weapon was. Plus, we still have our crew trying to dig into the base to get to Zeno. Now, with Stanley Snyder in our sights, Ryusei, all he has to do is like fire the perfect shot to make Stanley Snyder abort his plane. Like, they don't even have to like shoot Stanley Snyder himself. They just have to shoot a part of his plane that's going to make it free fall out of the sky, and then like he'll lose access to that plane. But Stanley Snyder ain't out of tricks either. He tries one wild, desperate maneuver to shake Senku and Ryusei off his plane by making his plane go out of control. Like I forgot exactly how he does this, but he like does some kind of crazy shit, and he's like basically trying to shake them off in whatever way he can. And so, while everybody's eyes are looking up at the sky battle, like everybody on the ship, everybody outside of our Dr. Zeno Retrieval team and Senku and Ryusei, everybody on the ship is looking up. But it was Matsukaze who kept his eyes on the ground, because another plane couldn't possibly be the weapon that Dr. Zeno had come up with. That's what I was thinking when I read this chapter too. I was like, that couldn't have been what Dr. Zeno had been working on for 2 weeks, a new plane. No, that's not something that I feel like he would get excited about. No, in fact, it was a decoy. And thank God Matsukaze had his awareness because it's a submarine. Now, based off what I remember from Dr. Stone, I'm like, I thought we built a submarine already. Because we built radar and we built sonar, but we never built a submarine. So that's what Dr. Zenio and Dr. Brody and all of them are working on. And Dr. Brody's on board. We got his mercenaries on board, and they're preparing to attack our ship, the Perseus, from underwater. And I was like, okay, that's interesting. So you used Stanley Snyder as a distraction in the sky, so they'd be looking up. They wouldn't worry about what's coming on. Even if they looked on the surface of the water, unless they knew that you had a submarine. Well, we have sonar. And then Yukio that's the other reason why they don't know. Yukio is with the retrieval team for Dr. Zeno. Because if Yukio was there, you could be like, hey, there's a submarine coming. So they don't know that the enemy is coming from underneath the water. So very clever. That writer is very clever. This writer for Dr. Stone's very clever. But their real attack was coming from below. And with that, they caught us with our pants down and they made the first strike. They attacked the Perseus with one of their missiles. And now we're seeing all sorts of characters in the American Kingdom of Science more than when we first started the arc. So I think these are all just like nameless mercenaries, like how in the Kingdom of Petrification we had like that Orose guy, like the strong one. But then there was like other nameless warriors too. So I think it's like that, where like the named ones are going to be important, and you can tell who the main characters are. The ones with like detailed scars or detailed looks, or they don't look like, you know, not clones of each other, but like they look like minions basically. They look like they like would be like commanders or something. You can always tell who the main characters are. The first new guy is a muscle character who I cannot put a name yet. He looks like the Brock Lesnar version of Arashi. So I'm feeling like because he's so detailed, I feel like he's gonna get like a named character because of how detailed he is. Again, he could be like an Arashi from the Kingdom of Petrification because like again how detailed he looks compared to the other characters and how much like almost a full panel presence he has, but I don't know his name yet. Then we see the other muscle woman who we've seen before, but we still don't know her name yet. Like, I'm not sure. I'm sure by where I'm at now, I know her name. But, like, we're at this point in the story, like, we've seen her once or twice. And she's always eating, like, meat or something. Like, she's like Luffy or Goku. But, like, we don't know who she is or what she does for the team yet. She could just be the muscle person. Oh, she is the muscle person for that team. She's the Kohaku / Tsukasa combined for their team. We'll get there when we get there. And also, it looks like when we took down Tsukasa's army, I think in like 20 seconds. Oh, yes. So it's like that. Like the way they take over the Perseus, it's kind of like how we took down Tsukasa's army in like 20 seconds in the Stone Wars. They managed to take us down in like 10 seconds, I think they say. Though, to be fair, our powerhouses, Tsukasa and Hyoga, Kohaku, and yeah, they're not on the ship. So our main powerhouses aren't on the ship. We still got like, you know, Renko and Genro and who are the other ones? Well, Matsukaze. But like our main people are Mozu. But our main people aren't there yet. So meanwhile, in the air, Senku and Ryusei are unaware of what's going down on the ship because they're still trying to pin down Stanley Snyder. Stanley Snyder is still distracting them, doing his crazy maneuver, trying to like shake them and stuff like that. So they're not even focused on the Perseus. They're not even aware of what's going on down there. But Senku is prepping something to end this battle swiftly, though we don't learn what it is just yet because we know Senku, he's always working on something. His mind's moving like at 1,000,000 times per hour. I would love to see a battle between Shikamaru and Senku. Like, I don't know. I think that'd be interesting. Or old school Shikamaru, not the new school Shikamaru. Not with that terrible plan about become their friends for 30 seconds and then betray them. Shikamaru, that was stupid as fuck. And anyways, as I turn the page, I realized I forgot someone on our power team. So we don't actually see Mozu and Homaru and Matsukaze on the ship as the ship's being taken over. But I love how he has like the team of the Kingdom of Science and Mercenaries are like going down to the bottom of the ship. They're looking for the rest of the people. And in the darkness, you have like Mozu coming out with a sinister grin as they find him. That is so fucking clever. Like, I was just like, oh yeah, I forgot Maz and Hyoga and all the panels of what the crew's getting taken over. We didn't actually see them get captured. We know that Maz and I think it's Mazu and Matsukaze that don't get seen. Yeah, I was like, we didn't actually see Mozu and Matsukaze getting taken over when the Perseus got attacked. I was like, that was very clever. But the fact that Mazu is the one coming out of the darkness and grinning like that, fucking perfect. And so the counterattack begins. Senku begins bombing him with all kinds of oil that stalls the engines from above. That way we can like avoid killing Stanley Snyder, but take down his plane. So it's the same thing that we used before, taking down his plane with that same oil as before. And meanwhile, Matsukaze and Mozu begin to take back the ship, like taking out all the enemies and all the mercenaries. And I was like, what an incredible chapter. And then I had ended the chapter with question mark, is this checkmate? And that's why we're going to end with chapter 166, because it's not a checkmate. It's definitely going to be a stalemate. So let's go ahead and talk about it. As the chapter opens up, Dr. Zeno cockily checks in with this team, thinking he's won because they've taken over the Perseus. They've captured all their crew. Stanley Snyder might have been knocked out of the air. His plane might be down, but he's like, we captured the Perseus. So we're going to use your team as hostage. We're going to use your ship as hostages. And then Senku, the scientist, will give himself up and will kill him. But they don't know that Matsukaze and Maz down below are like taking back the Perseus. So the dogfight in the sky was to keep Stanley Snyder focused on the sky so they wouldn't focus on the ambush of the Perseus. So, like again, Dr. Zeno accused them as hostages. And it's basically, once again, like everybody has like, you have a move, I have a move, you have a move, I have a move. Stanley Snyder came with the plane as a distraction. Senku and Racing went up there after him. He probably knew Senku would go up there. And then they attacked with a submarine, which was their secret weapon. And Stanley Snyder was a distraction so they could take over the Perseus, use them as hostages. But Stanley Snyder didn't know that that two members of the power team were still there, Maz and Mozu and Matsukaze, and they took out all his mercenaries. So it's once again a back and forth. And also, you got to remember, he doesn't know that we have the retrieval team digging a tunnel into the base after him. But anyways, Maz thanks for his training with Hyoga as his new spear training, and is using it precisely the way that Hyoga used to take him down. Like he's spinning like that spear in the same way that Hyoga did when he took him down. Which I found is pretty clever and great development for him, because I remember Matsukaze was like, oh, I'm a natural, like I'm a naturally strong, like you can't defeat me. Where Hyoga was like, oh, I'm hardworking and training and I'm always willing to learn. It's the Naruto and Neji thing. I think I talked about it before when I had mentioned that, like how Neji was like, oh, I'm a born genius, and Naruto was like, I'm the underdog, and the underdog ended up winning. So it shows the growth between Mozu, that he's willing to learn, and that Hyoga is a good guy. He kept his word. He would teach him that. Now, the Kingdom of North America scientists, they ain't playing around though. There's a new enemy who's wearing a vest of grenades and begins throwing them haphazardly, hoping that these guys will die. Like he's willing to kill anybody. Now, I don't know if this is a named character or not. It still could be like a random, but like he's just like, he has a vest of grenades and he's just like tossing them and throwing them. He's like, yeah, die, everybody on the ship die. But Matsukaze is a beast and blocks them all with ease, comparing them to many of the Medusa weapons that fell from the sky and turned his people to stone. So Matsukaze is already used to this. He's already used to like weapons falling out of the sky, and as his grenades are falling, he imagines them as like the petrification stones, which is kind of perfect because if you're petrified, you're basically dead. Unless, like, you know, you can be brought back with nitrous acid. But even with nitrous acid, you have to be, like, constantly thinking your mind, just be constantly aware. And if it's not constantly aware, if you get tired and go to sleep, then you need, like, the miracle fluid, revival fluid that Senku made. So, yeah, he's imagining like that, and he just blocks all of these. And I love that. That was great, a great simile effect to have, especially with Matsukaze and learning his backstory and stuff like that. Again, this is a very clever writer, and he's got great wit, and this is why I love Dr. Stone. That's a very clever way of using it as a twist. I also love how Mazu's attitude hasn't changed. Even though he's been trained by Hyoga, he's joined the Kingdom of Science, he's still like, he still wants to kill all of these people except all the beautiful women on board. He's like, I'll kill everybody on the Kingdom of Science, North America, but like all your beautiful women, like, no, I'm gonna keep them for myself. And I was like, what the hell? Aren't you like short on people? Wouldn't you rather take them hostage? Like, why would you kill all the mercenaries? Like, take them hostage. But I mean, I get his point, and game on. But like, Matsukaze, like, this is you've taken out the mercenaries, like take them hostage, do what they were going to do, turn their own plan against them. Now, meanwhile, Stanley Snyder's plane is down again thanks to Senku's clever tactics. So we think that Stanley Snyder's out of the way. Unfortunately, though, and hilariously, the same effect has happened to our own plane. Now, we're going down as well because when Senku was throwing all those, like, oils and stuff like that, it actually affected our engine as well. Like, so both of our planes are going down. And I love the way that he draws Senku and Ryusei's reactions. It's pretty great. I'm gonna make sure I show that off for you guys. I found it pretty, again, the humor in Dr. Stone is just very hilarious. He's just like, oh yeah, we did not see on the plane, but we're going down as well. However, once we land, I almost thought this was because Stanley Snyder, because of how feminine his. Oh no! They make you think that this is Stanley Snyder because, like, so in my notes I got confused here. I knew at this point Stanley Snyder was a man, but like I said, I was confused because how feminine they make Stanley Snyder look. And it was still given that Stanley Snyder was like Mr. 2, but he tricked us. This fighter isn't Stanley Snyder at all, but a woman, an actual woman, and she's got a machine gun. Now, who this woman is, I don't know if they've given her a name yet as well, but I know she's a part of the Kingdom of Science North America. And she comes into play later as well. But that's because Stanley Snyder was hiding in the submarine, waiting for the last minute to make his move. So there was a layer to Zeno's plan again, or Stanley Snyder's plan again. So once again, when we thought Stanley Snyder was a distraction, it was some other woman pretending to be him that had the same military and pilot training. She was just using us as a distraction. So once we got Senku and Race out of the way, once we took over the Perseus, Stanley Snyder was going to make his move, especially if they had a team that could strike back against us, which right now is Matsukaze and Mazu. And what's the first thing he does? Well, once Stanley Snyder lands on the ship, he takes down Matsukaze and Maz at the exact same time. And because of that, he knows Senku's not a fighter, Ryu's not a fighter. He's like, okay, I've taken out all your fighters. The rest of your Perseus team is down. My mercenaries might be down, but none of y'all can take me down. So I was like, oh shit. We have to do something because he could kill Senku right now and we'd have no way to stop him. The shots in both of these panels are insanely good, and I'm going to take a few seconds to show them off for you guys. I want you guys to, like, see this. It's really fucking cool. Now, with this final maneuver, Dr. Zeno declares checkmate. He's like, I won. Senku, you thought you was clever. You thought you outsmarted me. You thought you fell for my plain tactic twice. And we took over your Perseus. You lost. But wait. If Stanley Snyder isn't with Zeno, and he appears to be the strongest fighter of all of Dr. Zeno's people, then that means Dr. Zeno must be alone in his base by himself. Like, all your strongest fighters are gone. The woman that looks like Kohaku and Tsukasa combined together, your mercenaries, Stanley Snyder, Zeno has nobody protecting him. And that makes him an easy target for Tsukasa. I fucking love this. This was incredible. The ending shot of Dr. Zeno's face as he's surrounded by Yukio, Tsukasa, Hyoga, Kohaku, Sukiya, and Taiju, I was like, oh yeah, this was fucking incredible. This is where we have a stalemate. We now have Dr. Zeno surrounded by our power team, our retrieval team. Oh, and Chrome's there too. Sorry, I love you, Chrome. Surrounded by our power team, our retrieval team, and our most powerful person, two people, Tsukasa and Hyoga. And then you've got our scientist, Senku, by your strongest person, Stanley Snyder. We're in a stalemate. It's just who's going to blink first. Anyways, guys, that's where I'm going to end the chapter. And I'm going to end the video. Sorry for, like, my little rambles and stuff like that and pauses. It's been a minute, and I'm feeling kind of sick, unfortunately. I really hate getting sick, so I'm about to go take some medicine. Anyways, I'll see you guys next video. The next video will probably be about Captain America. But again, I'll talk about that when I talk about that. So I'll see you guys later. Talk to you next one. Bye. Hey guys, this video was sponsored by me, the author of the Shinry series, the Chronicles of Wayne, and Monsterverse. So I figured I'd do this outro a little bit different by showing you guys what you guys will be checking out. So the Shinry series starts with Book 1, Shobu Samurai Project Aryoku.
10 years after the death of his parents, Shobu Samurai returns home, seeking vengeance, but instead faces the choice to save his home from shadow creatures, blood beasts, and an organization once thought dead. Shinry's Shobu Samurai starts at $9.99. And if you love anime, manga, Naruto, One Piece, Bleach, Yu Yu Hakusho, Fairy Tail, Shaman King, Rave Master, Zatch Bell, anything like that, the Shinry series is definitely the series for you. You'll definitely want to check it out. The Sword of Light is probably the thickest one so far. And then these books are 2. This is Enter the Dread Zone Tournament. And the series original ending, Arado, the Legendary Conjuring Master. So, and I'll just show you guys some of the covers. Really proud of all of these. But I hope you guys check it out. If you don't like that, I also have the current published books for the Chronicles of Wayne, Love Be Damned, Cotton Candy, Full Moons, Fabled Lovers, A Cursed Virgin's Bite. If You Go Where Monsters Dance, Red will Rain Over Your House. Love Be Damned. Now, the Chronicles of Wayne is about a geeky guy, or a nerdy guy in high school. His senior year, he has a crush on the hottest guy in school, because of course he does. He's only got one best friend, and her name is Barb. Well, the hottest guy in school turns out to be a werewolf. And to make the story more interesting, he bites Wayne and turns Wayne into the first ever wolfman in the last 10 years. And because of that, it was also a sacred law that wolfmen should never be created. I don't want to get into too much of the Chronicles of Wayne without spoiling it, but I can tell you it's very short. This one sells for $6.99, and Love Be Caged right after it. The ending of this trilogy, Love Be Liberated, comes out in October. So I'm going to definitely do a more full in-depth review of this one. But yeah, it's an LGBT fantasy fiction story about werewolves, vampires, white witches, a dark warlock, and, well, many, many more surprises to come. So if you guys like to read, I definitely recommend. These are all the books so far in the Shinry series, except for Shinry's Beginning. I do have that one, but it's just not here with me. But yeah, I appreciate a like, support, or just a review on Amazon. Either way, thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys have a great day.